but you can see that viruses seldom come alone. And the reason they seldom come along is they need to find a way to subvert your immune system so that they can catch hold and persist there, because your immune system's very good at clearing these viruses. That's how it's co-evolved with herpes viruses for millions of years, and retroviruses as well. So as we heard yesterday, our genomes are between 8 and 10% retroviral pieces that are integrated and silenced, and the immune system mutates them all up so they can't be replication competent. They can't be infectious. They can't spread from people because your genome doesn't want foreign viruses expressed, but they also have benefits, and have benefits for the infection of other things. So all of the viruses here, EBV, we hear a lot. I got EBV mononucleosis at 12, as many do, and when I got that, I got the worst flu of my life. Well, we've activated the entire immune system to go after that, but that worst flu of my life, our life persisted, and maybe that's because it was an infection at that time with a co-infecting virus. So now you've increased your viral load, and anything that you do to stimulate the immune system can dysregulate it, regulate it further. So these viruses work together, and they do a lot of damage. So all of these viruses do a lot of damage to the mitochondria. So we all know now and consider autism spectrum disorders mitochondrial diseases, just as there's lots of data in ME/CFS, Parkinson's, lupus, that mitochondrial energy production, the very basic energy of the cell, is affected. Well, why? Because HBV. So none of us are... well, hopefully none of us are prostitutes or IV drug users. I guess I might have to. Oh, I'm too old. At any rate, we're injecting babies with HBV. It's a DNA virus, but it replicates through reverse transcriptase. It replicates through a reverse transcriptase. So you're putting a reverse transcriptase into the system where these other pieces and parts that I just told you about are being activated. You're allowing it to reverse transcribe. That means take the RNA genome back to DNA and insert itself and infect more cells. We've even had evidence that they're actually integrated into the mitochondrial DNA. So you can be disrupting the mitochondria with the retrovirus directly by insertional mutagenesis, we call it, by integration. But it allows for the apoptosis of cells, the loss of mitochondria from cells. And if any of you heard Dr. Samuel's beautiful talk yesterday, where there are hundreds of mitochondria in every cell. So if you lose them, you can understand, and tens of thousands in heart muscles. So thinking about these sudden heart attacks and things with damaged mitochondria. So one of the most horrific things we learned in 2011, which probably led to my very rapid demise, and this was a paper by the lab of Adi Gazdar, and Adi Gazdar did a lot of work showing SV40 was indeed very dangerous. So he was exiled to University of Texas, Southwest Texas, but he continued. He continued to work. Sorry, he continued to work on these subversive viruses. And what they did when they saw these studies and they saw all of the controversy and negative studies, they went and looked at all of these cell lines, small cell lines and things. Looked for those co-infecting viruses. Asked, could they actually make viruses? And did they? Were they in fact replication competent and infectious? And the answer was yes. And the really scary part. So when we saw this paper, we took one of our gamma HDRV infected patient cells where it wasn't a cell line, it was just cells in the laboratory, and we lined up 10 uninfected LNCAP, which was the one that could replicate the XMRV virus the best. So we lined up 10 uninfected flasks, closed them all up, shut the door, and came back a week later, and 4 of them were infected. What did that mean? It aerosolized. It spreads like mycoplasma, like flu. So that that said that, yes, in our study, maybe our numbers weren't so high because the few that were really cranking out the virus were infecting some of the others, and we did find multiple strains in some of the patients, as I showed you in the past. But this is very scary indeed, because of course the government's told you for quite a long time, you can all go home, you're safe, these don't aerosolize. Well, what we know from these cell lines, we use these cell lines multiple cell lines in every single thing we do in research.